Welcome back to Emma's English Talk, the perfect place for mastering real-world English. I'm Emma, and I'm absolutely thrilled to have you here with me today. Let me ask you something. Do you have a stack of books sitting on your shelf or nightstand, looking at you, completely unread? I certainly do. Every time I walk into a bookstore, I can't help but buy a new one, even though I have a beautiful, growing pile of unread books waiting for me at home. It turns out this is a very common habit, and today we are going to talk all about it. For now, I just want you to relax and listen. Don't worry at all if you miss a word or two. Just focus on the flow. We have a word tour coming up later where we'll go through the key vocabulary together. Ready? Let's dive into the dialogue.
Welcome to Emma's English.
Do you ever look at your bookshelf and feel a little bit of guilt, Tom?
Actually, I do, Emma, especially when I see all the books I bought but have not opened yet.
I know exactly what you mean, because those unread books always seem to pile up on my nightstand.
It is comforting to hear that I am not alone in this, because my bedside table is also full of them.
Why do you think we buy so many books when we already have so many waiting for us at home?
For me, walking into a bookstore is very dangerous because so many beautiful book covers catch my eye immediately.
Yes, a nice cover is so hard to resist, and buying a book feels like you are buying the future time to read it.
That is so true, as buying a book and actually reading a book are two completely different hobbies.
They really are, and I think we love the feeling of starting a new adventure, even if we do not start it today.
But then those lovely books just sit on the shelf and collect dust for months or even years.
I have some books on my shelf that have been collecting dust since I moved into my apartment 3 years ago.
Do you think you will ever get around to reading those specific books, or will they stay there forever?
I always tell myself that I will get around to them during my next vacation, but then I usually buy a new book instead.
I do the exact same thing, which makes me feel like buying books is my ultimate guilty pleasure.
Buying books is definitely a healthy guilty pleasure, but it does become a problem when you run out of space.
Oh, I have definitely run out of space on my actual bookshelves, so now I have stacks of books on the floor.
Stacks of books on the floor actually sound very cozy, like a little library in a coffee shop.
It looks cozy, but it is not very practical when I need to vacuum the room or clean the floor.
That is a very realistic problem, as we often forget about the cleaning part of having many physical books.
Do you ever try to solve this problem by using an e-reader instead of buying physical books?
I have tried using an e-reader, but I really miss the smell of the paper and the physical feeling of turning the pages.
I agree, because holding a real book in your hands makes the reading experience feel much more special.
But, on the other hand, an e-reader is great because you can never run out of physical space for your collection.
That is true, but then the unread digital books just pile up on your screen instead of your nightstand.
You are so right, because a digital pile is invisible, so you don't feel the same guilt.
Maybe that is the perfect solution for us, so we can buy as many books as we want without feeling bad.
But I think I would miss seeing them, because a bookshelf tells a story about who you are and what you love.
I like that idea, because even if a book is just collecting dust, it still represents a subject that we care about.
Exactly. It shows what we are interested in or who we want to be in the future.
So how do we decide which book we should finally get around to reading next?
Sometimes I let my friends choose for me, or I just close my eyes and pick one from the pile randomly.
That sounds like a fun game, and it takes away the stress of having to choose the perfect book.
It really does, and it helps me read books that I might otherwise ignore for a long time.
Do you have a favorite spot in your home where you like to read when you finally start a book?
I love reading on the sofa near the window when it's raining outside, with a warm cup of tea.
That sounds absolutely perfect, and it makes me want to go home and start reading right now.
You should, and you don't have to feel guilty about the books you haven't read yet.
Thank you, Emma, because I usually feel like I'm failing some kind of test when I look at my unread books.
Not at all, as a personal library is meant to be a collection of possibilities, not a to-do list.
I love that perspective because a collection of possibilities sounds much more exciting than a pile of unfinished work.
It really is. So the next time a book catches your eye in a shop, you should buy it without any worry.
I will definitely do that, although my wallet might not agree with your advice.
Well, we might run out of money before we run out of shelf space, so we must be a little careful.
That is a very good point, so maybe I'll try to read one book before I buy the next 2 books.
That sounds like a very fair deal, and it will make the reading experience feel even more rewarding.
I will try my best to stick to that plan starting tonight.
I believe in you, Tom, and I hope you enjoy your next reading adventure.
Thank you, Emma, and I hope our listeners also find some time to enjoy their own book piles this week.
Happy reading to everyone, and remember to enjoy the journey of learning and reading at your own pace.
Absolutely. See you next time on the podcast.
Welcome to the Word Tour. Today, we are going to look at 6 very useful phrases from our conversation that you can use in your daily life. First, let us talk about the phrasal verb pile up. To pile up means to gather or increase in amount, usually forming a pile. For example, you can say, "The dirty dishes began to pile up in the kitchen sink after the party." Second, we have the idiom catch my eye. If something catches your eye, it attracts your attention because it is interesting, beautiful, or unusual. For example, you can say, "A beautiful red dress in the shop window caught my eye." Third is the phrase collect dust. When we say something is collecting dust, we mean it is lying unused for a long time, so actual dust is growing on it. For example, you can say, "My old bicycle has been collecting dust in the garage for years." Fourth is the phrasal verb get around to. To get around to something means to finally find the time to do a task that you have planned to do for a while. For example, you can say, "I hope I can get around to painting the living room this weekend." Fifth, we have the phrase guilty pleasure. A guilty pleasure is something you enjoy doing even though you feel a little bad about it because it might not be very useful or healthy. For example, you can say, "Watching silly reality television shows is my favorite guilty pleasure." Finally, our 6th phrase is the phrasal verb run out of. To run out of something means to use all of it so that there is none left. For example, you can say, "We need to go to the store because we have run out of milk." I hope these 6 phrases help you express your daily habits more naturally in English. Keep practicing, and I will see you in our next lesson. Great job today! Thank you so much for tuning in and sharing this cozy conversation about our unread book piles with us. I really loved Tom's funny realization about his stacks of books on the floor. They might look incredibly cozy, like a little library in a coffee shop, but they certainly aren't very practical when it is time to vacuum. It is a comforting reminder that we do not have to be perfect readers to love books, and that our unread piles are just collections of future possibilities. To help you study, we have put a link to the free PDF script in the description below, so please check it out. And if you enjoyed today's episode, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay updated with our latest lessons. Keep up the great work. See you next time.